that everybody took the game, didn't make too big a deal out of it. Everybody just took care of their business and went on about their business and carried out and executed a game plan. Is that kind of a similar thing for this week? It's important for you guys?
Yeah, I think, every game's important. Your record matters, and so when your record matters, each week matters. In the NFL, every team's good. Obviously, there's history with last year, but last year's last year. This year's this year. This is a really good football team on the road, and, I say the same stuff every week because I believe in the stuff that I normally say, and that's just we got to execute. You got to show up and be ready to go and execute whatever play's called.
Christian, they've had a lot of injuries to their linebackers. The guys that might play against you, what are your impressions of what they have there in the middle?
Yeah, they got great depth. Their whole unit can play. They're well coached. You can tell that they all play the same way. So, and that's a good thing. It's a compliment. They're fast. They're physical. They run the ball well. And actually, Ellis went to my high school. So it's been cool just to watch him, get reps and be out there. I never went with him, but proud of what he's done. And cool to see.
You're going to take it easy on him just because
No, not that.
How does the hostile environment of Lumen Field, how did that serve as a good primer for what's coming in financial goals?
Well, I think, it'll be loud, obviously. It's part of what makes football so fun is going into a hostile environment. And, at the end of the day, though, it's all about what happens in between the white lines and going out there and executing as best you can.
Christian, this isn't cause my tweets and the Logan project is obviously very important to you, but what does this weekend kind of do? How is it special to get to honor this?
I think it's really cool. I think it's cool the NFL lets us do this. I think it's a good opportunity for all of us to give back in different ways. And this sport goes beyond football, and it's a lot bigger than us. So it's always cool when you're able to give back and causes that mean a lot to you.
How much harder does your job get when it's raining?
I don't think about it. I think you might have to adjust a couple equipment things, whether it's your gloves or not. But the mentality and everything else stays the same.
There's a lot of
Not
talk
only
about
yourself, but the other teammates have mentioned, new team, new year, but the emotion of last year doesn't carry over into this game.
Yeah, I think there's always emotion whenever you play any game. Obviously, with us losing in the NFC Championship last year, there's definitely emotion that comes with it. But you got to let those natural emotions just come as they do, and just focus on complete execution. And that's really how I try to handle it. Is just understand exactly what your job is at all times and execute it, and then the natural emotion that comes with it, you just let it happen.
Not only for yourself with this offense, but also for Brock. He's got a full year of being a starter. How much more confidence do you and he and the offense go into this game as opposed to last year?
I think our team's always been confident. I think he's always been confident, whether or not he had a year under his belt or not, and that's, I think, something that makes him really special is that he is so confident. He studies extremely hard. He understands the game plan really well, and then he plays beyond the X's and O's, which is, something that you want in a quarterback.
There's a lot of talk about the Philadelphia Eagles having a really good offensive line. Do you feel like the 49ers offensive line is underrated and not getting enough attention?
I haven't seen any ratings. I would be shocked if they were underrated. I think, from my perspective, and I have a pretty good one, they're pretty damn good, and I'm really lucky and fortunate and happy to be running behind them.
You said in the broadcast that, and usually they get that stuff from production meetings with Kyle and maybe even you, that when you got traded here, that you went to Kyle and said, hey, I can carry the ball. I mean, I'm not just a split run receiver / runner, but I can just carry the ball as a runner. Was that a conversation that ever took place?
Yeah, that took place. I've had a lot of coaches say things, about me in the past, so it's probably part of my insecurities and competitiveness of I want to be a complete back. I think this dates back to when I was in middle school and high school, and I've had coaches in the NFL who didn't think I could run in between the tackles, and so I think for me it'll always be in the back of my head, and something that I take a lot of pride in is just being a complete back. And when you go somewhere new, you don't know what they're thinking. So I don't know if that was a validated conversation, but I felt like I needed to have it.
But I remember the draft, even in the draft was rolling around, there were some people that were like, this guy'd be a good slot receiver. And you remember that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know why, out of college, I think I had more runs in between the tackles than anybody over a span of 2 years, but I'll always be the slot receiver, could have been a slot guy or whatever, but I think that might be a mold I'll always have to break.
All right, guys. George is right here.
Appreciate